Hi everyone. I've made another video here, and in this video is going to be explaining about how to sustain our own spirituality and how to treat other people in a way that's acceptable to that sense of spirituality. So, at the very base level, we communicate with other humans, and that communication can have a positive impact on us. It can have a negative impact on us. So when we communicate to other humans, we have to be very careful. We don't want to take on negative parts, and we don't want to take on fear and stuff. We want to get a positive experience from that interaction. It's not good for us if we go and talk to someone and then we become more closed-minded as a result. We become more materialist as a result of that, and lust and so on. That's not a good thing. It's a bad thing. It's bad for our spiritual path. So it's very important, if you want to become more wise, you want to become more about life, that you surround yourself around people who are nurturing the gift that you want to create. If you have people around you just putting you down all the time, it's not going to do you any good, especially if you've got low self-confidence or esteem. You can't stand up for yourself, so you believe what they want you to believe. You let them paint your canvas for you, and they'll just turn you into what they want you to be, and what they want you to be is not what is best interest for you to be, because it's just benefiting them and it's not actually wanting you to become good. But if you find someone who's positive around you, which is a little bit harder to find because we live in a bit more of a negative world, if you find someone who has a positive effect on you, you'll find that you'll be able to walk through life with more insight. You're just a bit more, you're above all the problems in life, because that's coming off on you, because they want you to see that. They want you to be above things. They want you to rise. They don't want you to be a slave. They don't want you to be closed-minded. They want you to develop, spiritually. And a lot of people don't use the terms, like, if they don't know about spirituality and stuff, it doesn't mean that they're not developing your spirituality, because it could be like your mum, and she's supporting you through tough times. She's saying, "Don't worry, I love you very much. Do you want me to make your favorite dinner tonight?" That is supporting you spiritually, because spiritually is just a fancy name for life. That's just a way of people supporting you through life, for you to get through it, and for you to learn, and for you to become above everything. You go through periods of time when a problem seems like nothing, and you say, "Oh, I'm above that. That means nothing to me. Who cares? There's all this life I got to experience." And then the next week, you're sort of going, "Oh no, this is going to happen," and you're really anxious about it. But then when it happens, you're like, "Oh, well, I'll move on." Most of the pain is in the anxiety. Most of the pain is in the angst, of that going to happen. But then when you are above those problems, and you say, "Oh, that someone's going to say, oh, this is going to happen, or I'm going to do this," and then you say, "Well, go do it. I'm above that." It's probably not good for you to do that, but and it will be better for me for you to not do that. But I mean, above all, I'm above that. You don't be controlled by other people. That's a very important thing, because they'll lead you astray. Unless they've got your positive interests at heart, even then, don't just blindly follow. Don't be led into the lion's den, because it does happen. So the very important thing is, make your own decisions. Don't let people take that away from you. And treat people with that they make their own decisions. Don't make decisions for other people, because we live in a world of balance. It's not really fair to tell other people to not control you, but then you're controlling people. You don't want to be a hypocrite to your own sort of insights. You don't want to, because you're just using them for your advantage. You actually want to take those understandings and and use it good. So if you find that you're playing a team sport, you know, and when you're not performing as well because you sort of got all this anxiety and stuff, and you sort of just finding your place and you're not doing as well, and then someone says, "Oi, you know, you suck, you know, you're shit," or whatever, and you go, "I hate people who do that." You know, it's just not needed. You know, I know I'm not shit, but the thing is that I'm not performing as well right now, and I don't need to hear that. You know, that's only going to try and make me worse, and it's only them trying to make themselves, because by them calling you shit, they're calling themselves really good. So it's them being selfish. It's them going up at your expense, because you start doubting yourself, and then they feel really good and great and above and everything. Okay, and you really hate when people do that. But then when other people do bad, then you're like, "Oh, you're shit." So you're really doing the same thing, and you're just continuing the cycle. So the thing is that to treat people right, you have to stop the cycle. You have to stop it. So when someone else performs bad, you have to put yourself in their position. You have to really see through the eyes of them. And you've got to go, okay, you know, I know how to, I know my feelings when I'm in that position. You say, don't worry, just give it some time. You know, you'll be fine in, you know, 10 minutes or so once you warm up. You know that, and then they'll go, wow, you know, I feel really empowered by that, and I'm not scared to go out and give it my best. So that's really what a positive mindset will really have on someone. It will really encourage people to do good and not doubt themselves. That's a very important thing, that you encourage people to in a good way, you know, and especially if they're not performing as well, you don't judge them, you don't criticize them, you know, and soon of all, you won't even get those kind of thoughts. A lot of the times is because we're not in control of our own thoughts, and that thought pops up in their mind, and you just have to say it. You're being controlled, you're being programmed. So you have to really think, and you really have to stop the cycle of what is considered to be normal human behavior, and you've really got to rise above that and see life, because the normal human behavior in our life is not really designed for us to see what is life. You know, same as an ant. You don't see an ant sitting at the top of the hill drinking beer like, yeah, look at these clouds, you know, this is awesome. You know, they're all hard workers, and they all die for the queen. Oh yes, they do. So you don't see a lazy ant around. Okay, maybe 1 in 100, and maybe they jumped in someone's alcohol and they're stumbling around, you know, drunk as hell, and they're probably having the time of their life because they're free from it all. They're free from all that controlled nature. Because they literally don't know it. They don't understand it anymore because they're outside of it, and they got the freedom. But then as soon as they sober up again, then they're inside the life again. So, and they're unhappy and so on. So the trick is also treat people right, but you have to understand that changing yourself is not like, you've got to really do it in a sustainable way. You've got to really change this normal you. A lot of people think that going in altered states of consciousness and finding out stuff there is the truth. But, you know, although you might experience stuff there, if you're just coming back and you're unhappy because you're stuck in this life, you've got to really look at changing your normal life, you know, and trying to treat people right in your normal life. So, when we treat people, we want to treat them in a way which benefits them, and don't get too frustrated easily, and you have to be very patient with people. That's the key, is that being patient with people. If you let your frustration get to you, if you let your anger get to you, you're actually suffering more than them. You're hurting more than them. You're going against your natural energies if you're giving into that. So you'll just hurt more than they do in the end. So that's a very good thing, is that it not only benefits them, but if it benefits you. Unless you're someone who you want them to be more closed-minded, and you want to be more closed-minded too, because that's where you benefit from it. So that's, don't put everyone else down. You know, that's not fair. You're not in control of everyone else. You know, that's not fair. You know, you've got to let people be the master of their own decisions, and don't judge people based on their decisions or on their past or whatever. You know, we all had to make this journey to come here to this place right now, you know, and if you can love yourself, that was all necessary. You know, you could have been anyone. You know, I think a lot of people would say, you know, even though my doubts and my depressions and so on, I prefer to be this person because I've gone through that and I'm above it now, and I'm this unique person as a result. So that's a very key understanding, is that you can't be a spiritual person and then treat people like shit. You've got to really, if you see a spiritual person, a true spiritual person is above judgments. They are above those naive human feelings of jealousy and doubt and lust. They're all above that, you know, and that's a very important thing. And don't fear that, oh no, they might think this of me. No, 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 they're above that, and you'll find that when you meet people like that. You know, there's a lot of wise older people who are above that, and the older people love to play the fool. It's their trick, you know. It's the wise man's trick, is playing the fool. So you've got to really not judge people. Don't read the book by its cover, you know, what you're told. You've really got to know someone, you know. You meet plenty of old people who are laughing all the time, they're really happy, and you're like, oh, they're not serious at all, you know. Don't make your assumptions too quick. And there's a lot of information, you know. These people have lived twice, three times our age. They know, they've experienced, just time, in time, they've experienced a lot more than we have. They've got lessons to teach us. So don't lose ties with that. Don't disrespect people who are older than you. You've got to really understand that they've lived life longer, and they, even though that what they're saying doesn't make sense, you know, this is what it comes back to. You don't judge or criticize them for that. You say, okay, you know, that's your point of view. You know, whether I agree with it or don't agree with it, that's not my right. You know, that's not my that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to tell you whether I agree or not agree with you. I'm not here to judge you. You know, you tell me, I'm like, okay, cool. That sounds pretty cool. You know, I like that. You know, it's cool. All right, I'm going to do this. You know, now we've both got our own thing. So it's, a lot of people are just like, no, you can't do it like that, or, you know, this and this. You know, not just in terms of spirituality, just in terms of everything. The way they want to play soccer. You know, the way they want to play a game. You know, you always get these people going along who think they know everything. And they say, you know, that is not what you should do. And you're like, well, what should people do? Who made that standard? You're like, oh, well, that's just what people do. And you're like, well, that's the mass majority. I'm not the mass majority. You know, if you're a part of the mass majority, have fun. You know, I'm not a part. Don't tell me how to make my decisions. Don't tell me what I should and shouldn't do. And they say, yeah, but it's not as effective. And you're like, well, it's not about being effective. It's about me having fun. That's why it's a game. So that's really what you got to come back to, is that this is life, and you're not here to be the most effective that you can be. You're not here to be to play by other people's rules. You're here to enjoy life and open up. As long as you're opening yourself up to your life, you're making the right decision. So if you're playing soccer and you're looking at the clouds and they're saying, "Oi, stop looking at the clouds," and you're saying, you know, you're playing soccer because that is all that is to you. You know, I'm playing soccer because I'm opening myself up to life. So those are the differences. So you've got to. That's why people who can't criticize other people, you know, and to them, opening up to life could be them getting really involved in the game, you know. And getting involved in the game is not a bad thing, but it's when you're trying to tell other people how to do things. Obviously, there's a standard, like we've got to have good teamwork and stuff like that, things that we universally agree on. But it gets to a point where you just want them to be what you want them to be, and not just in sport, just in anything really. So the important thing is that you need to be kind to others and find karma, and treat other people how it benefits them and not just you. And a lot of people treat people really good, but then they accept being treated like a shit. So that's what I'm really talking to those people out there who are not who haven't been treated well. So and you're treating other people good, so you've really got to stand up for yourself and not let other people tell you how to live your life.